So right now we're just looking at the pre-market. We're just trying to analyze some news, what's gonna happen, because obviously Apple did beat its earnings. It popped off in the post-market last night. Pre-market still doing good, but futures are still kind of struggling. So I'm just trying to read on about that because there's an article right about that, and they just sent that in the Discord as well. And I think that one of the biggest things is Congress fails to agree on the next coronavirus stimulus deal. So that $600 a week for unemployment benefits that people have been getting on extra on top of their regular unemployment benefits is going to stop, I believe, today. And that's not going to help out. So as we can see right now on the ES, you can see all the volume right here. It's kind of just stuck in place at the moment. Nothing too exciting, just bouncing off Bebop right there. Let me see if there's a way to get the Yeah, at this moment, we're just kind of range bound consolidation, just bouncing off. So we're just gonna wait it out. There's usually a lot more happening in pre-market, but today's a weird day. Like I was talking about before, essentially I think it's because the fact that the unemployment benefits go away today, so that extra $600 that everybody's been getting goes away. But at this moment, we're just waiting. Too much volume happening right here. Everything kind of just, you can easily tell for yourself that, hey, it's not really a place where you want to go into. And then if we look at our charts, right, on TradingView, we can easily see that price again. To me, I feel like this is the area where you kind of just want to stay out of at the moment. You can go for like very small plays, but it might go against you because there's no real direction, right? So that's something you really want to pay attention to. Because overnight, even though like right in about post-market, everything just shot up right over here. Because obviously Apple's earnings beat and all the big tech stocks like did great. And that pushed them up. But that post-market session, like it couldn't break through that overnight. It was just selling off. But in the 5 minutes, still bounced off the 200 EMA over here. So, and then bounced off again on the 200 EMA over here. So that's a good sign that maybe the overnight we're just slowing it down, and then the morning session we might be able to have a nice pump up again. Because even if you look in the hourly charts, right, the only thing that's concerning to me is that if this is just creating a little downtrend motion, because obviously that would be two high points and it could create a nice downtrend again, but we'll have to see. And the only reason I'm even considering is that over here, the previous pivot lows, it got broken or touched it right there, so it's like that's a bit concerning. If this pivot low was up here, I wouldn't care, but again, it broke this pivot, kept going, and it tried to break again here, then came down again. Because when you have higher highs and lower lows, like this one right here, because it went above this pivot high, and then broke the pivot low over here, that's like the easiest way to understand when consolidation is about to happen. And in this move right here, everything pumped up because of earnings, but it's starting to catch up. So that's definitely a price point where around the 270s is where I would keep an eye out to see if there's going to be some action there or for a nice reversal. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But for now, we can just, because like on the 1 day, right, we'll take this line out, it's just going to be confusing. In the 1 day, we are still very close to our all-time highs after a whole pandemic, and we're still going through the pandemic. So it's like, hey, this makes no sense to me, but hey, it is what it is, and we just gotta go with it. But essentially, what we're only from here, 115 points away from our all-time high, and that's only like 3.53%. And the ES can make that move in a few days if they wanted to. So it's like, we'll see. That would be an interesting scenario. Will we break the all-time highs and keep going, or will that finally cause a nice big dip again? Maybe not as fast as this one, but probably like similar, but much slower. If we can't get the funding to come in, right? Yeah, if we took like a nice swing trade right here, we would have made out pretty big, but obviously ES swing trading, not the best. MES, you could easily swing trade. Your risk is a bit lower because of the price points, but if I was going to swing trade the S&P 500 market, I would definitely do it with the MES and not the ES. Let's just hop back into the 5-minute charts, right? To me, this is still a nice little trend down in the overnight session. You know, you always have to keep in mind like what happened during the overnight session, because if the overnight session pumped up really big, that means we're due to sell off in the normal morning session right now. But if the overnight session was kind of selling off, we might get the buyers to step in the morning session. So yeah, it's still continuing the downtrend, like we saw, like bounced off there, bounced off here. We're making higher lows at this point right here, so we might see a nice little triangle formation. And like if we draw it out, right? So we can see like a nice little triangle forming right here. So we can try to trade the break of our little triangle, or we can just wait for our algo, but it all depends on what's going to happen, because usually I was expecting a lot more volume to be being conducted right now, because normally during earnings, like after like big tech stocks, there's a lot of volume, but right now, not too much. Price just jumping back and forth. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the chat right there. If you guys think that the market's gonna be going up today, down, whatever, based, like, is there some news that you think we should all be paying attention to? Just let me know. It's always interesting to find out different opinions. And then we also have the U.S. agrees to pay Sanofi and GSK $2.1 billion for 100 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine. So let's see if they can execute. That's always a big thing. We did just get a nice little buy alert in our algo, but again, one thing I'm like trying to make sure of because is the VWAP right there and so much rejection right here happened. So I don't know if I want to enter this. Like this could honestly be a nice breakout move to the upside, but we'll have to see. Okay, what would the measured move be to? $32.58 to 25. Okay, so about 2 points for the first target. I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like I'm just gonna stay out of this one just because of the volume and the way price action is right now. Yeah, I think today's going to be a nice update too, especially with the overnight sell-off. We can definitely see some buyers stepping in. I just want them to step in. I want the banks to go put their big money in, move the markets. It'll be nice. We can catch a nice quick play on that. I'm just still surprised that, hey, like, usually pre-markets for big tech stocks, like, always moving. But I guess due to this COVID-19 relief package and everything, and Congress not being able to make a decision, that's really playing an effect into everything. And Congress had so much time to make their decision, and they couldn't pick exactly what they wanted to do. Yeah, Mustafa, the stimulus check is coming, but I feel like a lot of people use that check just to pay rent. So it's like, if they're unemployed and they get the stimulus, okay, they can pay the rent and then they get the unemployment benefits, which they can cover with, which is good. Their family can still be safe, but I feel for economic growth and like increasing the GDP itself, it's not enough. People do need to get back to work. People do need to, but like it's just, these aren't the times where you want to put people back at work. Because what's the point of sending people back to work if they're just gonna get sick and have the potential to eventually like pass away, or God forbid, but those are the conditions that we're living in right now, and it sucks. And I think I wish there was a vaccine like more immediately available, but man. But yeah, I'm glad that I didn't get in right here. Saw the volume, didn't want to risk that, and now it just flushed down. Because again, it's still just been consolidating in that zone. Like, I'll pull up this chart again. You guys can see it's bouncing back and forth. Like obviously, if you wanted to take like a nice little long again right here, if that's the range right there. So it's like you could. I just don't trade range bound. Yeah, I think today we might just have to wait for the market open and let all the buyers and sellers finally step in, because right now they don't want to come in the pre-market. Like you can see the volume, like just the dome right here, just these couple contracts right here for this price. You can see it's like 697, 838, but like normally for a good market it's like above 1,000 at least. So and thank you all for dropping that like button. It means a lot. I appreciate it. So now that we see like the ES dropping down a little bit, we can consider the 200 EMA bounce, the yellow line right there, and see if that would be a nice area for an entry. But again, considering the fact that we have 28 minutes till open, we'd rather just wait till market open instead of just trying to risk our plays, because being in a trade right before market open can screw you, because right at the market open, right, all the volume comes in. It can just pump up, pump down immediately. Your stop loss might get hit like really quick, so it's not worth it to me. Like unless you were like in a short position from like up here and then you held even into market open, that's one thing. But like right now it's like I don't see it being worth it. Yeah, all the earnings were crushed, like Amazon, Apple, Facebook. It's like, what was it? Apple posted a historical strong quarter with a revenue jumping of 11%. The fact that your revenue jumped up 11% during a pandemic is quite ridiculous. And if you guys saw the post market last night, that's the Apple went haywire. Like it went up like at least like 7%. You know what, I can show you guys Apple right now. We have some time. So this is a chart for Apple. This is not including the post market, right? Where did it close? It closed right about around 384.53, right around that area. Remember we got the signal yesterday around 10:30 for a buy, and we're targeting at least 389.83. But then if we put in the extended hours, we can see it blew right past it, went all the way up to 409. That's what it's at right now. So who knows, maybe right at market open we might just see a little quick dip, so people are taking their profits from the pre-market session and everyone, and then we can see it'll just count as it's like pullback, and then we can see it go back up again. Who else was there? Facebook. Yeah, Facebook was struggling with its 200 EMA, but I think it blew past its. Yep. God damn. It closed around 234.89 and went all the way up to 251.50. That's crazy. I was like debating buying some options last night too. I was like, maybe I should just get in, but then I was like, I second guessed myself. That's when it, you know, it happens. And we'll can just see the top 5 things to know for this morning. Again, Apple, Amazon, Facebook earnings were crushed. Like I was saying before, Congress fails to agree on the next stimulus deal. And they're saying from the $600 to maybe put it down to $200 per week. So that's obviously going to stop spending, because obviously people don't have the money. Caterpillar has been raising, because obviously construction didn't stop for some reason during the pandemic. It was kind of interesting. You'd think that when people don't have money, the construction would stop, but it seems like a lot of people have more than enough money to have stuff constructed. And then you had the Eurozone GDP plunged by a record of 12.1%. Again, pandemic, everyone's at home, not everyone's going out, money's not circulating, it's not being spent. So that's why it's like the market bias is so weird with this pandemic, because it's like tech stocks are doing amazing and they usually move the markets a good amount, but then it's like, oh, but people don't have income to spend on anything, or like Congress can't decide on how much they're gonna give the government, like all the citizens and everything. So it's like, it's just fighting back and forth. So everyone's like kind of just waiting to see what happens. Like, is there actually a good deal? Is the Fed gonna like cut rates? Or what are they gonna do? And that's just something we have to pay attention to. And that's why they say, I think with trading, like market adaptation is very important, because conditions are always changing, right? For the past like 12 years, we've been in a nice bull run. All the tech stocks just been pushing the market up, and then all of a sudden we have a pandemic out of nowhere, right? It just throws everything off. So it's like, you have to be able to adapt, because the markets always adapt to whatever's happening around the world. Have another alert. No, that's just the same one, because I keep switching tabs and it creates the same noise every time. Okay. I think if this candle can break through VWAP right here and then keep going up, I'll probably get into a trade. But again, I might just do one contract for a quick play, because right before 9:30, I don't want to mess with it. And it's still in that same consolidation area right over here, so it's like, I don't want it to just go right here and then just come right back down, right? We'll just switch this to one contract. We'll see if we can get in or not. But I want this to be a quick play, nothing too long. If anything, I'll just take a point. But let's see what happens at 32.60.50. It might just make a little bounce back again. really wanted to break the 3260.50 level in this candle, or else it's like the sellers are still in control, right? I'm just gonna hold my buy stop order up here so that way if it does cross, I can just drag it down. Again, the 3264, the line that you guys see, that's where my buy stop is at the moment. And then 3260 is where my stop is, but this is going to be moved whenever the market moves. This just makes my life easier, faster entries. If anything, I want it to hit, break, come back down, and then I'll enter. That noise you guys just heard was the signal saying like in the algo this was projected to be a good move. But again, nothing works in consolidation. Yeah, it's just continuing that downtrend. It's just trying to, like, this point right here to down to this point and this point. I mean, this pivot right here would be considered a higher low, which is a good sign that, hey, maybe we are trying to break through. But without a higher high and a higher low, it's not confirmed to be a trend shift. And origin code, do you have any estimates to where the price will go to today? Yeah, we're getting closer to the open, only like 12 minutes away. I'm gonna cancel my order. Just let it be. We'll get in once the market opens. Even the 15-minute chart's just consolidating. That's just the way it looks. 1 hour as well, same thing. So it's like we just have to wait it out for a little bit. We'll definitely see a nice pump right at 9:30 though. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that's just gonna get a nice pump in the morning. I think that's just because like every time I did like earnings during like tech stocks, they've always just jumped in that morning session, like right at 9:30. You see a nice big like jump. But hey, like this earnings is not like any other with the pandemic, so it's like we have to see. Still debating. Can this move up? Can it break out? Come back down? Oh man. I think as we approach like the all-time highs, that volatility is starting to go down again. Like if you guys remember back in like March and everything, March, May, like price would in the ES would jump like 10 points in less than like a minute. And now we're taking like 20 minutes just to move like a couple of points of like 2-3 points. Who knows? We might just break that level right now. Maybe not. I mean, every time during election period, they try to pump the market up as much as possible because it gives people more confidence a little bit, and they're like, okay, like we're in good market conditions, like the president was able to keep us that way, and maybe like improve it, but I don't know, man. This year's just been out of whack, like so much. But I will definitely try to like most likely say like they will try to pump up the market, and that's what they've been doing for the past couple months. Like if it wasn't an election year, I think they would have honestly like let it tank a bit more and then stabilize instead of like just pushing money out. Because like it was one thing to like give people the stimulus and everything, but then like all these company bailouts, and then the companies have like a 6-month provision where after 6 months they're allowed to fire their employees if they wanted to, and that comes in September. So what happens then? and they never gave the companies any oversight. And like they had the board where they had like an oversight committee where they would see how the companies spent the money and they would regulate it. But then they took that away because our president wanted that, and he's like, oh, we don't need the regulators, just give it to them, they'll do it and everything. It's like, so it's like you just gave people billions of dollars and said, yeah, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to really tell those right now. Just like, okay. Like, just think about how that plays out, right? Obviously, all these companies fire their CEOs because they got to blame somebody. Be like, oh, you couldn't handle this. And they'll give them a nice bailout package saying, oh, you're fired. Okay, here's like a million. That's your package. You can go. So it's like, instead of just spending that money on the employees. And again, it looks like right now this isn't going to be following my rules of essentially it didn't break in the first two candles afterwards of the buy signal. So from that, I'm not going to enter. And honestly, at 9:30, I feel like you could just go from here all the way up. Let's see, I'll make an exact move. Let me just measure some stuff out. Watch, it'll probably go from what this was at 32.60.25, right? I'm gonna say it's most likely gonna at least go to like 32.64.50 if we can get that buyer pressure. It'll have that 4-point jump. I might just put a buy order right here at the top and see if we can break that and just pump up completely. Because right now it's just flushing down, so we have to see. our price target at the moment is going to be 32.64 and then 32.68.75. We have about a minute left before we get to the market open. Okay. Now let's get ready. We might just do one contract at the open. Probably put it at the break right here. 75, buy stop. I'll try to go for a big move. We are open. We can see that it was trying to pump up and now it's going down. Wow. Price is struggling. I might try to make a nice small pullback move on the NQ right here.
Stop field.
Honestly, I might just try to close the NQ position out real quick. Just get out of break even.
Stop field.
Yep. Big loss. NQ. That's why I don't touch it too often, but it happens. But this kind of push to the downside, it's kind of ridiculous right now. So as of right now, we are down for the day about 750. Big sell-off. Oh man. At this point, all I'm doing is waiting for a nice reversal, because honestly this could just be people taking their profits from the overnight gains, and so we'll see. Definitely was not expecting this big of a pullback down that quick right now. So yeah, this is one of the reasons I don't like touching the NQ, because you can get a big pull. You can lose a lot, like we did today, 750. But normally that would have just been a nice quick bounce play. But you can't win without losing, right? What I'm hoping for is we can get a nice little V return. So like go down, completely push up, take all the sellers out. Let's see if we can finally get the buyers to come in. Nope, sellers are taking over. I think if we can break this candle right here, I might look to get in and wait it out for and see how happens, but we'll see. We'll see. This is definitely not what I expected after good earnings. Hit it. Just trying to break. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close. Well, that's concerning. I made a lower low over here. Still that downtrend, still this downtrend. I don't know if it's the right move to make a long. You'd be fighting the trend at this point. Definitely pushing down again. Okay. Yeah, at this point we're just waiting to see what can happen. Because we didn't get in on a short, so it's like we missed out on that. And then kind of just waiting to see if we can just make a full reversal. But we'll see. Getting no confirmation on anything about like a nice reversal or anything at this point. Oh man. And even the price action over here, it's just everyone's just fighting. Yeah, even looking at the volume, the seller's volume is pretty much staying in control. Trying to see if any of the buyers can step in, break the volume, and then that'll be a nice indicator of a nice reversal, especially with this type of candle going on right now. I'm looking at the 1 minute chart right now just to see like the way the price action is working in the 1 minute to see if we can catch a nice reversal point. But man, losing on the NQ definitely threw me off a little bit, but it's okay. It happens. And it's also my fault because like I normally don't like to touch the NQ at the opening bell, but I did, and it taught me my lesson. And now I just making a note that don't ever touch it again right at the open. Right now, it's just in a matter of consolidation. Let's just hope for the 10 o'clock reversal, and then we can get in on that, and then we can ride it out. This looks promising a little bit. Everything's just chopping back and forth. I really was expecting this to be a good day, but after like this whole week being like choppy like this, like I didn't expect today after earnings. Yeah, Harry, I can agree with you on that. Looking to sell the WeWap. Definitely a nice place today. Just trying to see if we can get that push. Because we're pretty much in a downtrend at this point. ES is honestly making like a triple bottom right around 32.42. But let's see if this candle can break through that. If it can, then it's not a triple bottom, and then it's pushing. Man, oh man. But I think the seller's volume is starting to die out finally a little bit, because you can see the candles, like the formation of the candles, like they're not too much in control. Like even though they are in this candle right now, like I don't know how much longer they could be in control. Man, these guys are not resting today. They're just selling. Pretty much a 20-point drop since open. $34, $36. Let me see. Yeah, that's where I consolidated last time on the charts. Like if you look, and 34 to 36, that area is pretty decent. This is like right around here. Where is it? 34, 36. It might be a good area for a nice little pullback action. But honestly, I'm waiting for confirmation on the buyer's volume, man. Like, they've been weak this whole morning. I don't know if it's because it's Friday, it's month end, they're doing a nice little sell-off. Who knows? I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna be watching the ES. Not gonna be touching the NQ anymore. Let's see if we can get that push down to here around 32. No, Harry, I haven't tried using a heat map or footprint, anything like that. Kind of just follow my algo a little bit, and then I've been testing out the NQ with the CGC Don't Diddle, and it works, but I realized I should not be trading that in the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes with the NQ, especially because I feel like the first 10 minutes like always messes me up with the NQ because the movements are too rapid in the NQ. And that's why with NQ, a lot of people, like, they have, like, algorithms that trade for them because they can enter and exit so quickly. But when you're mainly trying to trade the NQ, don't trade in, like, the first 10 minutes because it's just ridiculous. And that's how I took my big loss today, but it's okay. It happens. For me, I kind of just look at the volume, see if the volume can break, and then see how many buyers are stepping in or sellers stepping in based on market conditions as well as the trend, and just understanding like the chart, right? That's what really matters. I know some people do like heat maps to see what everything's doing, but I think the heat map is just essentially the volume. Again, it's just pictured differently, but it's telling you the same thing, like how many people were buyers, how many people are selling at what price. But I can easily see that essentially just through the volume nodes right here, because your heat map will just be converted into little blocks of price saying, oh, people are buying or people saying here. I'm like, yeah, well, I can tell you that too right here. Like, volume nodes just get bigger and bigger. We are approaching that area of 34, 32. Let's see if it's just gonna break through it completely, or if we can actually look for a nice support. I think for reversal confirmation, I might just put an order at 32.42, right around that area to see. But trying to look for price action to see if there'd be a nice reversal point. And as far as my edge goes and everything, right, my algo is the edge that I have. Worked on it for a long time. It gives me good profits. I think the only times I've been losing is when I've been trying out like other strategies, like I did with today on the NQ with the don't diddle, the CGC don't diddle strategy, and looking for that bounce play. That's where I lost. But for ES and stocks, pretty much, my algo has been giving me great results, so I'm happy with it. And yeah. Literally anytime buyers are stepping in, the sellers are just taking them out. The seller volume is way too high today. Like without a proper reversal, like I'm not gonna get in. I feel like I'm more disciplined with the ES than the NQ. It's like NQ, obviously I broke the rule today. Lost money, but we'll get it back. No doubt. Yep, seller volume's kicking in again. Yeah, pretty much I'm just looking at my phone and getting like updates from other people as well. It just seems like the institutions are unloading and everything just seems like it's pushing down. Yep, sellers just pushing, man. I feel like the reversal might not come for a while the way it looks like right now. Some buyers are stepping in right now, so who knows. But we dropped a hefty amount. Oh, that's some interesting news. It says individual investor optimism hits more than a 4-year low. That means everyone that's normally, like every average investor, thinks the market's not gonna hit higher highs anymore. Combine these two real quick. We can see how the 2000 tick chart's doing as well. Just to get an idea of how price is moving. We're finally getting some buyer volume in the tick charts. If in the tick charts we can get the EMAs to cross, again, these lines right here on the tick charts are just EMAs. I just use this as like, you know, for confluence purposes to see if everything's in the right direction in like all different types of charts. But let's see. That's the 21, perfect. We can get a nice little cross. That'd be nice, but let's just go back here. What happened to my 200 EMA? I don't know why it just randomly disappeared. Okay. It's back. Yeah, at this moment, the buyers don't seem like they have an opportunity at all. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's a nice pullback to the short side, but like right at this moment, I feel like our best point for us would have been right over here to have entered, but we missed that opportunity right there. And because I was like looking at all the other charts, man, I don't know. This is just the institution selling off, man. Like whenever these type of drops happen, it's all just the institution just dumping. A pullback sure would be nice right now. If we can just get some buyers come in and then we can short it, that'd be great. Like right now, I'm looking at the 1 minute charts on my other screen, and I'm trying to see if there could be a nice pullback, nice little setup, but barely anything. Because this move is pretty much overextended at this point. It's oversold. I don't know how long we can continue this. The sellers have no quit today. Yeah, man, today's market is very weird. Like, it's not really expected to be like this with great earnings, with tech stocks moving so much, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta always adapt, right? You will have those losses some days, and that's okay. As long as the long run, you're profitable, you're good. And pre-market was pretty, like, yeah, pre-market was just choppy, but pre-market for like the overall stocks and everything, it was pretty good. So it's like at the market open, everyone just dumped. pull up the Nasdaq real quick. Yeah, Nasdaq is slowly starting to pull up again. That's because like mainly, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, they're all doing well, and they pretty much control Nasdaq's major movements. But let's see. I mean, if Nasdaq can hold here, we can expect the ES to start catching up and make a nice move to the upside. I don't know if I'll short it, but I might just try to see if I can make a full reversal. Because in the 5-minute charts for the ES, it's finally starting to slow down a little bit. That's giving me confidence for a reversal, but still gotta wait. Maybe another like 3-4 candles. Tick charts, let's see if anything's happening. Yeah, a nice indication of a little reversal would be if the EMAs can cross over right here. The red one's the 21 EMA, I believe the white one's the 5 or 9. 5, yep. 521 cross. That'd be nice. But at this point, man, we are just struggling. We'll wait it out. We'll wait for a couple candles. Might see a nice little reversal coming up. If we do, we might get a nice little push back up to the WWAP, and then that'd be nice. Where's the 200? I don't know why my 200 EMA always disappears when I switch screens. Yeah, I think for a lot of people who are just trying to make the earnings play for this morning, looking, having that optimism of it going up really got taken out. So I'm just like looking and talking to people, and everyone's pretty much down right now. Let's just hope that we can make a nice reversal here. Nope, sellers stepping back in again. Great. I think if we can hold above 32, 33 for a little bit, that's when I might just get in for a long position. Ride it out a little bit to like 32.40s, 32.46. Try to go for a 10-point play or so. But that's only if we can hold above. Sellers staying strong, man. Buyers were trying to make a push, but they just couldn't. The seller volume is always breaking the buyer volume every single time right now since the morning. Let me see. How do you see the seller and buyer is strong without seeing the market orders? Well, one, I have the order flows on the side, and then I have the volume itself, right? The volume bars that tell you on the candles. Because it tells you how much volume each one was, and based on the color of the candle, they'll tell you which the sellers were in control or the buyers were in control, and that's how you know. Because it's not just about like looking at the price, it's more about looking at the price mixed with the volume pressure. So here, let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just make a clear chart. Okay, perfect. So the way I would see it, right, is this is the volume bars at the bottom, and you can see like how much volume was traded here. Did it break the previous volume? And that tells you it's like a strong move to the downside. And then throughout the day, the seller volume was always above the buyer volume, which means the sellers are pretty much in control for today. And every time the buyers try to make a little break in the price, sellers step in, seller volume picks up, and the price keeps going down. That's the easiest way to keep track of price and confirm it with the volume. Because essentially your order flow is going to be telling you the same exact thing. You're just going to see it in a different format and different visuals, but essentially the volume, looking at the price and the trend of the chart, it tells you the same exact thing. So Harry, did that make sense at all, or do you want me to like explain it again? Because I got distracted by looking at the candles real quick. Perfect, I'm glad. Yeah, because normally when people like look at order flows and everything, I'll have even just be looking at the dome right here, right? And looking at that kind of just makes you think about a lot of things. Like you get too focused into that and you're just staring at that and you're just like, okay, this is moving up. Like that rapid movement can get annoying and can get to your head and it might confuse you. That's why I like to stick with the regular charts with the volume just telling me what's happening. Especially with the 5-minute candles, it'll tell me exactly what the moves happening, and then if we'll get a couple red candles, perfect. That means like the sellers are kind of in control, and then if the volume bars are increasing in size with the price dropping, that means the sellers are really in control. And that's what happened right at the open. Sellers volume increased like ridiculously, at least like 4 times the amount before market open, and then price was dropping, so we told you they were in control and they wanted to dominate today. The purpose of the dome, I honestly just use it to see if there's any big orders just piling up at a certain price. But I don't ever depend on the dome, because anybody can cancel their orders at any point, or people can just be like getting in right when the price is moving there. So it's like it doesn't give you the most accurate, but it's nice to see like once you're approaching a certain price or psych level and seeing if orders are piling up there. If orders are piling up there, then you can assume that it's like, okay, there might be some resistance there, so it's like let it break the price, come back, and then enter, rather than just saying, oh, it's just going to reverse at that price, right? So it's like you have to be careful with those. It's like right in the dome, you see how fast it's moving, and you'll see all the orders changing here. Sometimes you'll find like 1,000 orders there right at that price or something, and that's going to tell you like, hey, that's quite a lot of orders sitting at that specific price. And with that, it's like you want to keep that in mind when you're just like placing your orders, if you ever see that. So the only purpose of the dome is just to keep you out of those like random situations, or like they don't happen that often, but they will happen from time to time, and the dome just helps for that. And then I use the dome just to enter quickly or exit quickly depending on the way the price is. And if I know I want to get in a certain price, I'll have my mouse right there, I can one click, I'm done. Or else I'll be trading on the chart, sell limit, buy stop. I'm just drawing a box over here just because I feel like it's been sitting there for a while, and it's just gonna be a no trade zone for me, where it's like I don't take trades. Even if I get a signal there, I'm not gonna take it because it's just a little no trade zone for me. Because the way the price is just consolidating in that area, it's like just ranging, I guess. So I do look at the volume profile from time to time, but I'm not heavily dependent on it, because I can just see the volume nodes on the side right here. That kind of tells me the volume profile essentially. And then high volume areas, I will tend not to trade just because, like we see right here, right? Let me just, like right here, we see the volume picking up and everything. And we can tell, hey, the price is consolidating here too. This is an area where you don't want to really get into a trade, because the way the volume profile works, right, is you trade it by essentially the breakout of the volume nodes. So if once it drops down to like a lower node, like right around here, you might want to get in, and because like it can push all the way up to here. And that's something like you want to, that's the way some people trade it, and it does work a good amount of times. But the way I look at it is like I use my algo to get my alerts, to get my entry points and the exit points, and then to confirm if it's a perfect alert or not, I'll look at the volume and see what's happening at that price that I'm getting that alert. That way I'm just adding like confluence to it, so it's like multiple things are telling me, hey, like this is a good setup, I can get in, and that's when I get good profits, because like when there's good confluence, that's when you make good profits. But the only thing I don't like about the volume profile is that it's something that's better traded after the morning session, like a little bit, like after the morning session has kind of been completed, like the first hour and a half, because then it tells you kind of the price points. Because like right at the market open, like you don't see the volume exactly. Because like when we first started out, like if you go back in the stream, you can easily see that none of these histograms, like none of these bars were here on the right side, and it builds up after some time. So that's why I don't like to depend on it, because it's like, hey, like volume can shift at any point, right? I just use it as an indicator of saying if there's heavy volume already, should I be entering or should I just not take the risk? Because right in the morning, like this was the area where the volume was traded the most because of the pre-market and everything. But then after that, it's like all of this area, it was not touched, and everything just built up as we went down with the price. So there's no way of telling, okay, this is the high and this was going to be the low. Because at this point, this was the low at one point, and then right now, this is probably going to become the high because it's like approaching. So if it can make a reversal from here to there, that would be pretty awesome. But again, like we're just stuck in this little box. Do you know if it's possible to trade? What do you mean by that? Do you mean like the Top Step demo account and the Top Step live account at the same time? So you can't do a demo and the funded at the same time because you're gonna be using the same like this is the TS Trader, right, by Tradeovate, and the Top Step Trader by Tradeovate. And once you're in the live account, if you want to do, you can do replays at any time you want and just do like replays of whatever happened like before, even just today, right? You can go back like 2 hours and start then, and you can do replays and practice, but you can't do a live demo with a funded account. Because once you have the funded account, you have real money, and you have real losses, you have real gainers, and it's yeah they don't have options for like to switch from demo to that. They just have the replay button, which is essentially the demo again, but just not with the real time. But it's good practice, right? Even if say you didn't get a chance to like look at the markets in the morning that day, you can come back fresh in the night, press that replay button, and then just look at it like it's completely new to you, and trade it that way. And then that's how you can build and practice. A lot of times I will sit on the replay just to test new strategies out, as well as just times where I thought like, I second guessed myself, but it actually went in my way. So I'll test everything out to see what I can do better. And it's always good that that replay is actually very accurate. I love how accurate the Top Step replay actually is. And yeah, it gives you proper market data and entries and exits. Because I know a lot of demos, they just say, oh yeah, you could have got filled there, so it just kind of like fills you. But Top Step, it actually waits for all these orders like you see on the dome. Like you'll see that in your replay. And like right now, we can see the orders piling up at 32.35 on the dome. So let's see how many orders can pile up, or if they just take the orders away. Yeah, this is just becoming like a range bound. I think it would probably just dip again down here, come back. No break right now. Honestly, I think I might just stop for today. Like, I don't see anything happening at the moment. And I don't want to force myself into a trade just because I was waiting. Today was a loss, but that's okay. We'll come back on Monday. We'll get it all back. Next week will be better. As long as we have enough capital to keep coming back, that's all that matters, right? We have our profits. We can take some losses here and there. It's okay. And yeah, we're here for the long run. Okay, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy it. Take some time off. Don't be stuck to the charts all the time. Do some practice here and there, but enjoy your time on the weekend. I'll be back here Monday morning. And I'll see you guys then. Take care.